vandal. Well, if I'm in charge of the guild and I see these guys just going vandal, I say, okay, you guys are deemed enemies of the state. You're exiled, and here's the police going after you. So you fight the police, and you kill them. So I say, okay, you guys are a stronger threat than I realized. If you really want to play it, here you go. And I'll send in my army, soldiers who. And now remember, the soldiers have certain skills, so you could be pretty good. Items have endurance.
Okay, but let's say mine and John's two guilds are all about warfare. So our empires are about nothing but destroying other people. So you send your army and we crush it.
Mm-hmm.
Then what do you do?
And that's the thing. I have to keep recruiting resources.
You're going to go to Sky and you're going to complain that pay my money and John and Mike destroyed all my stuff I created. Right. What are you going to do about it, Sky?
Right. But think of it like this: what if the guild that's in charge is actually in the same opinion of you? It's like, we're a warfare guild. This is why we have land, And so if you're an upstart group and you say like, oh, we're going to overthrow you, you're dealing with pros already.
No, but what I'm saying is,
and this is actually
the users are going to come crying to you as the developer, saying, "You let me create this stuff, and you let them destroy it."
Yes.
So what are you going to do at that point?
And the reason why is because that creates the tension in the game. Everybody who participates understands that you are contributing to the fabric of the game.
But that is the one thing that every developer has capitulated on time and time again. Sony did it with Star Wars. They put in permadeath for Jedi to keep the balance.
Yeah.
People's Jedis got their asses kicked or died, and then Sony said, "Oh, well, it's not fair to take that away. We'll remove that from the game."
Yeah.
And now everybody has a Jedi. And same thing happened in EverQuest 1 and 2, where they had to tone it down because same thing happened in Ultima Online, when a new player would log in and immediately get ganked, and they had to change the PvP rules.
Yeah.
There's always going to be, if you let someone who pays you for a service have something, and then you let someone take it away, you're going to have to deal with whining.
Yeah.
And the companies always back off because
it's negative press in a way, but it's also they don't want to turn away customers. A company, that's why they do it. They don't want to turn away customers. They want to attract more customers. It doesn't matter about the quality or the content of the game. They want more people in the game. So, and the reason why is because they want. It's for entertainment value. That's the purpose of the game, is entertainment. But some games, they're about art. Like, what is Civilization? What is SimCity? What is, and World of Warcraft? Or not World of Warcraft. Even World of Warcraft, but also StarCraft and, Warcraft 3 and this and that, These games sell immense numbers, right? And dang, I was trying to cut it at 10 minutes. Anyways, but you basically invite players and you say, look, we will give you basically the same kind of environment you're used to, but now you can do whatever you want, and it's like, and the thing is though, it's going to have permanence. But here's the thing: you're not going to be penalized much if you are killed. You automatically have a spawn, or you have your choice of either one of your offspring or one of your relatives. If you if you have if you want to follow that route, you can create sort of a genetic thing that flows into the gene pool of the game. Because you create your avatar, right? So what you create, if it interacts with somebody else of a different gene type or avatar. The genes would interact in whatever way, and I think that would just be an interesting aspect of the game. I totally imagine, you would have people who are just black assassins. They're solo players. They focus all their skills on one-hit kills, and they just go around and just assassinate people, and then elaborate whatever. And so be it. This is why you, as a player, create a NPC network to support you, to protect you. Mm-hmm. This is the other thing. You have control of NPCs. You can tell NPCs what to do, to a point. Once it crosses that point, or whatever, it's there's different relationships you establish with the NPCs, and this is part of the whole guild thing. Or you can create a guild based on anything. or a group based on anything. So I use the term group, but think of a guild. But basically, it's an instant. Like this is the social whatever you're part of. You walk into a city, you have access to the city chat. You walk into a guild headquarters, which could be anything or it could be anywhere, and you have access to the guild headquarters chat, as well as their message boards, and this is why you would want maybe encryption, and so encryption kind of becomes like a different language, you could say, or who knows, but anyways, so encryption becomes a skill. But anyways, so yeah, you have it so that anybody can contribute and do whatever they want. And in fact, that's what you want. You want the players basically fighting amongst themselves. If anybody gets to the point where like they get bored because there's nothing going on, they're not putting out a fire, they're not, they don't have to take care of something, or they're not expanding in a way. See, that's something else. Is that the GMs would roam around, and if they noticed that like nothing was going on, they would spawn some NPCs, or they would recruit some NPCs and have them relocate to this location and, purposely, wreak havoc, cause havoc in the landscape, because it's all about challenge. To me, that's what gameplay is. It's all about challenge. How much more challenge can I make? How much more challenge can I, take in? And now, guess what? I can access this game at any level. I could go into a total strategic commander role, and just like I can lead armies, or I can lead a military group and have do different missions. I can go a crafter's route and just totally, because some people are like that. They're interested, or they like the idea that I can focus all my attention on creating something. Well, now guess what? There's no limit on what you can craft. You can make the durability whatever. You can make it, the cut quality, whatever. You can, the materials even that you harvest, whatever skill you have, if the material's there, it's like wood exists. Now, what level of wood, quality wood you get out of it, that depends on your skill. So the better you develop your skill, when you interact with this piece of wood, that's the quality of wood you get out of it, kind of thing. That's the same with like mining, So I mean, you imagine you can have mines anywhere, just, so you get what I'm saying, right? This is why I'm thinking, this is why I'm thinking it'd be an entertaining game, to people. Maybe.
Yes, if you can figure out the logistics, the specifics of it, it can certainly be a very interesting game. Certainly an original game that nobody's seen before.
Right.
But, as far as...
Explain. Because I'm thinking like just a normal...
just in the concept, nobody has a game that's based on user submissions. It's not based on.
Yeah. It's not solely based on user submissions, but if somebody, it's encouraged that people submit, and you reward those players with those submissions. So, like, you can create a dull-looking factory for your products, or you can have like this crazy, bizarre-looking one, And yeah, you could design that and add that to the game world, So there's no limit on you about. There's no idea of character either. It's kind of like you are who you are in this environment. You can talk about whatever you want. There's there's no in character or out of character,
Okay.
And so as a result, you can have groups who form. You have groups who form solely based on what their lifestyle or like their choice of lifestyle. And you have these various groups at war with each other too. So that's where you want to generate conflict. Ideally, you can have players who want. See, this is something else. People want power. Ultimately, really, people want power. People want to control things. Give them that option. Let them have that, right? So put them in an environment where they can control an NPC. Have that NPC, do whatever they want, and they can slave that NPC to a certain point. It's at that point that loyalty is not enough. Amount of money you're giving to this NPC is not enough, kind of thing. It won't do what you want, kind of thing. Or the NPC could be bought, and the price is whatever, So